Okay, so we are back. We're going to talk about a topic that I wanted to discuss, which was on, this morning I woke up to an article about, if Biden is our new president, one of his advisors was promoting a 4 to 6 week lockdown. I don't know what you guys thought of that, because his argument was Americans' savings are up. And so as a country, we have the money, we have the money to fund a 4 to 6 week shutdown, a government shutdown. So this is like nationwide. That was his proposal. This is one of Biden's top advisors. I was just curious what you guys thought, because this might happen. So Jasmine and then Santino.
Okay, so listen. So I might be biased in what I'm about to say or whatever. Do I think that we can afford it? Listen. Actually, I don't know. I highly doubt it with our broke asses. Okay, but we make all this money. Where does it go? I don't fucking know. Okay, that's just one thing. But can't we? I don't think we can afford a shutdown. But do I think it's necessary? Again, so like I said, I might be biased. My opinion basically on it is, do I think we can afford to do it? No. But do I think it's necessary? Yes. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Santino.
I mean, I just think the idea that this guy's idea that they're going to go and fucking borrow money from like the American people he's out of his goddamn mind. I'm sorry, I don't know about you guys, but the second they talk about doing that shit, the money's going in the mattress and getting pulled out of the bank, and that'll fucking cripple this economy. I mean, it'll cause a depression like you wouldn't fucking believe. Like it could break us.
I honestly couldn't believe that he had the audacity to say that American savings are up, which is probably because
nobody's going out.
Our student loans, or no one's going out. We aren't paying our student loans. We don't have to commute. There's all of these good things that are happening with COVID. And it's not that we won't spend the money. It's that our savings is up. And then to say then that it should be used for a lockdown for COVID, when we've had no proof of overruns at our hospitals right now. I think we've had some that are at capacity. We do not have an overrun of hospitals. So why would we need a government shutdown like that? I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go with these motherfucking Democrats. I can't do it on both sides. I'm just in the middle. I'm like, can we just have something in the middle? Why do we have to have no masks or complete shutdown? It's so fucking annoying. Ugh.
Yeah, I agree. I just really quick, I agree with Santino. I will pull all my savings out. I work too goddamn hard for that shit.
Oh, I feel too. Yeah, taking my money.
And with the decrease in how much you're getting, like in interest, I'm at a point where I'm even pissed. Like, why am I even talking in savings at this point? I'm getting 0.00. It's just like, what the fuck? I went from 2 point something to barely nothing. What the fuck?
But they're going to take our money and our taxes are going to go up. It's just good. It don't matter. I'm just so angry. I could not believe what I was reading.
And that's what 75 million people voted for, though.
Where do you guys
think that money grows on trees?
Wes, sorry.
I'm just baffled as to where everybody thinks their taxes normally go. I mean, where do you think that 1,200? Where do you think that 1,200 came from? Where do you and percentage based on when you got $1,200 and who got more and why? The same thing with the 2009 stuff and the 600 and all this. You're always paying. So this idea that you don't want to pay yourself sometimes is always created by people who don't want you to do shit. Again, you got to step outside of here and look at other countries. The reason that they are able to go into lockdowns is because they pay people to stay home. That's the other part of it. You can't do one without the other. It doesn't matter. Huh?
Why do we need to stay home?
Because people die when you don't.
My question wasn't only can we survive a 4 to 6 week shutdown, is do we need to be shut down in you guys' opinion? Like, have you guys seen overruns in hospitals? Do you guys think we're okay? So that's
I know dead people.
I don't know if you wanted to.
Well, I was only just going to speak on that fact that I know I read today that the Utah governor or whatever that was saying that their hospitals are at capacity. And that's the whole point of coronavirus at this point, right? It's not that we don't have the ability to take care of people who come down with it. Is we have to make sure we have the capacity to take care of people. And right now they're at capacity. So Utah's at capacity, and that's why they passed that rule saying that now they're mandated now by their governor to wear masks. It's because their hospitals are at capacity. So that's the whole fear. We don't want to get to the point where every state's at capacity, and now you have more deaths resulting because we just don't have the ability to care for folks. So it's always, again, the solution should be somewhere in the middle. I haven't seen this Biden proposal, but people got more money in the bank now because they don't know what the hell is going to happen. They don't know if they're going to keep their job. So everybody's scared. So you can't take money that, people are saving for a rainy day to fund the government with that right now.
That dude's out of his mind, man.
The whole government's out of their mind. Clearly the solution is you take some ideas that are from the quote unquote right and from the left, and you put them together, because you definitely need, you can't shut down the economy again as a whole. And you just have to open it up with, precautions in place and stuff like that.
Can I just propose a quick question? Does anybody know anybody who's died from COVID?
Yeah,
I do.
Okay, so
2 of us.
how is this a question about severity and necessary? Like if we all do, if it's a real thing to all of us, not that you could get sick and have a rough ass time, but that you could die from it, and that people.
You could die from anything.
You could die from anything.
You can die from anything.
What's the mortality rate of the flu?
Hey guys,
Thank you.
hold on. Okay, Wes, you now know what they're feeling. So do you want to keep going?
No, I again, it's one of these things that if you, when people who live in the hood, right, and they have these stop the violence rallies and stuff because people are getting shot, and it falls on deaf ears, and then you have people who've never been to the hood in their life say, well, they don't protest then, they only protest police killings, and that's, you just don't go there. They protest people shooting every single day, and it's not getting to the people that need to hear it. For the people who cannot speak and who are in these situations where they're around people who are dying actively, it's really hard, especially physicians and doctors. It is incredibly hard and I want to say insulting for people who don't work in that capacity to be like, what's the difference? People are going to die anyway. No, that's not how it works. All right. It's a one, overrunning the system could cause even more, but 2, this is not the same mortality as the flu. I don't know where that came from, but I wish we had a doctor here. I wish we had a physician.
Well, we know it's more deadly.
That should never come up. That's like saying
it's still a death rate under 5%.
It's way below that.
It's way less than 5%.
But Dr. Rand Paul said you don't need to wear your mask if you got it.
Okay, hold on. So LaShawn and then Peter.
I don't even remember what I was going to say. There are so many different things happening. But yes, I know people who have died of COVID. COVID is not a fun experience. It has lasting effects. I still can't smell. It's been 3 weeks. But there's people, I've heard of some serious horror stories, people who survive and have really, really, really bad side effects. So
Shaila, can you mute?
COVID in general is very serious. I don't know anything about this taking people's savings situation. I'm not understanding what you guys are saying. Are you saying the government is literally going to take people's money out of the banks? They're going to borrow?
No, it's essentially you could borrow it from the bank, but where's that money coming from if you're borrowing it from the bank?
Borrow money to take care of yourself from the bank?
No. The government will go and probably issue bonds and borrow from the bank and then use that to cover it. I can see that just fucking. There's a reason why when China gets into shit, they go and they ban people from pulling money out of the banks.
Yep.
You just don't do it. It's something you don't do.
I see what you're
That's
saying.
how you get Venezuela.
Anyway, sorry, LaShawn.
I don't know. I just don't understand how a government this big and rich can't figure this shit out. It shouldn't be this.
That's frustrating. I agree. Peter, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, the whole death thing. My thing from the very beginning was see where the actual death rates are. You have little chance to die if you're under 70 without underlying conditions. That's what all the numbers came in.
Yeah. Those are CDC numbers.
Those are, those are.
But some people don't even realize that they have the underlying conditions until they get COVID and then end up dying. There's a lot of random.
Yeah, but it's like, LaShawn, the numbers are something like 0. If you're under 17, the possibility is like 0.0003. Yeah, it's like 99.997% survivability rate.
Yeah.
17 to like 40 is like 99.95.
Question, and I don't know the answer to this, but has anyone seen any studies about not dying and the other side effects of living long term?
Well, they're still looking at.
You don't know them because it's not long term.
That's still a gray area.
That's not true. There are
people suffering kidney failure and
I know people who have
okay, back.
Fucking bad.
All right, back to my original point.
But that makes sense on a science level, though. If you're talking about a virus that's attacking your cardiovascular system, and you're not getting enough oxygen to your organs, that can cause you to fall into renal failure if you're already prone for it. I mean, that's just like a science thing. That's, you know what I mean? Like, not enough oxygen
matter is what I'm saying in the grand scheme of things.
So back to my original point. So everybody, okay, so if you take a look at the actual numbers, the people that actually died strictly from COVID that got it was 6%. Everybody else had some other thing. But what about all the other effects that it's having on everybody else? This has been my point from the very beginning. When you start shutting everything down, the suicide rates have skyrocketed. Drug overdoses have skyrocketed. Depression has skyrocketed. Abuse in the home is skyrocketed. So yeah, okay. What about everybody else? So that's fine if you're only focusing on specific numbers, but then you're forgetting about everybody else. So to say, well, I got sick, okay, that's fine. So you're individualizing, that's fine. But what about another family that lost their business? They have nothing. All of a sudden, suicide. All of a sudden, they can't get routine medical checkups. So all of a sudden, the cancer rates have skyrocketed. They can't get hip surgery. So all of a sudden, they're addicted to what? Opioids. So now all of a sudden you created somebody that has a dependency issue. So all of a sudden they're dying of overdoses. It has effects on everybody else. The thing that's always frustrated me is everybody said, okay, but COVID. That's fine. What about everybody else?
Well,
The chance of somebody actually dying without any other underlying condition is slim to none. It just doesn't happen. Older people, yes, take away the 70 up, and I think their survival rate, I think the mortality in them is about 4%. But everybody else, there's underlying stuff, and everybody just forgets about that, and that's just not fair.
I don't think so. Just again, with this particular issue, it really exposes that America's the only major country that doesn't have a Medicare system that works for all of the people in the country. It just doesn't. We're the only one. So that's why that's a big deal, because you risk losing things where other countries don't. And the other thing is everybody is super gung-ho about it's not a lot of death. If you're saying it's not a lot, if there's not a lot of deaths, if it's a low rate, I challenge you to pick out who dies and who doesn't. Because again, I have friends who have had to do that, who've had to say, all right, you ain't gonna make it. I mean, I'm talking Italy when this was going on, saying, damn, we can't do him. We can't do them. I know nobody in this room could do it. So that's the thing that's just like, all right, it's easy to talk shit about numbers and do things. When you have to actually physically make a call, make policy to do things and we're not discussing those things. We're just talking shit about money. That's fake. We're just doing that. It's one of these things that's just, I don't ever want to lose sight of anything that much where I could sit and I would feel comfortable saying like, yo, you know what? Some people just gonna have to die. Like I just couldn't do it. It's just not for me. I know everybody's different, but to me, that's the one that I couldn't do that.
Country over the individual.
CJ, LaShawn, Peter.
I mean, in a perfect world, or not even a perfect world, in a better run country, yeah, you would pay people to stay at home. You would fund, everybody's expenses, and you would freeze mortgages, you would freeze payments on everything, and you would pay people to stay at home. That's what you would want. But that's not what we have because of the system we have in place. So you got to open up the economy, because if you don't, then you're going to have people who are going to be starving, who are going to be homeless, who aren't going to be able to afford the rent. So you just have to open up with certain precautions in place. I mean, and then also it's a democracy, right? So we're not going to get everything we want all the way. So a lot of people in this country do want their right to do whatever the hell they want. Like the Dr. Rand Paul said, his crazy little theory, if you had it, you won't get it again, which is completely inaccurate. But, you know, he said, go throw away your mask and go have a party. You got to realize that there are stupid people who want to believe they can't get it again and they want to have a party. I would say, you know, if they don't want to wear masks, that's on them, you know, and as long as they're not, you know, directly affecting you, then I guess you got to let them do it. But you got to open up the economy to a certain degree. Because again, we don't have a government who can take care of people who lose out at the end. But again, the reason we don't have a system that works though always goes back to because of our two-party system where you got two parties where one party has to be right and one party has to be wrong. So it's either we do it your way, you're completely wrong, we do it my way wrong. Again, it's always somewhere in the middle, but we can never get to the middle because the supporters won't allow it.
Yeah, we need to get to the middle because we need a solution, and it can't always be federal either, though. LaShawn?
At the end of the day, like, if we open up, it's fine. The problem is we open up, we make people wear masks here, but then in some places they don't. Then those people travel and then they start spreading everywhere. So you could say, oh, they don't wear a mask, it's fine, that's on them. But no, they're creating this perfect storm of situation where everything is going haywire again. And then, like, I don't care if they open up certain things as long as there is like precautions in place for this. But unfortunately, no one follows anything. There's so many people outside doing whatever the hell they want. And that's why the death is climbing again. These positivity rates are climbing astronomically. Unfortunately, there's too many people in the world that just don't care. And you either have to put something in place so that they listen or everybody's going to keep dying. And I'm sorry, I'm with Wes. I think there's just too many people dying. I don't think we should get in a place where we're comfortable sacrificing over 200,000, going to be 300,000 before we know it. Like, that's a lot of freaking people. It's a lot of freaking people.
Peter,
people are talking about the 200,000. I'm just curious, does anybody know what the difference of total Americans dying in 2020 versus 2019?
No.
Is it more or less?
Should I look it up?
Yeah, look it up. I believe it's less. I believe it's less by quite a bit.
Because everybody's probably is on lockdown, so nobody's getting into car accidents and stuff like that.
But my point is, the deaths are still lower. So you didn't care about those same people dying last year, the year before. If you knew them, obviously you did. But these random people, they weren't on your minds. On average, 60,000 Americans die from the flu every year? What does that count now versus the CDC? Isn't it like 95% less? All of a sudden the flu went away?
Oh, you're saying people are being counted for COVID versus...
They are. Everybody knows that because they get paid. And that's already established.
Sorry. I was just going to say, there's something to be said, though, about something that's preventable. And if you can just, if it's just about wearing a mask and not completely shutting down an economy, because I don't support completely shutting down an economy either. I don't think it makes sense to have these small businesses disappear, people's livelihoods challenged and literally, disappearing overnight. I don't think that that's fair.
Yep.
Again, there has to be a better solution. And I agree with LaShawn that we just haven't had that.
So people are talking about other countries. Real quick, can anybody name a country that has been successful with maintaining COVID? Sweden is has the best numbers, right?
No.
No.
Sweden was the most free. They didn't do anything to stop COVID. Yep. Their deaths are higher than everyone around.
They're in trouble now.
Okay. Are you okay?
It's trial and error, right? It's trial and error. Nobody really knows.
Okay.
That's why.
So the name of the country that's doing well.
That's why I did like the push though when it was.
But when you had one doing well.
Wuhan.
No, that's why I didn't like when people just came out and was like, see, that's why masks don't work. You don't need to wear them, blah, blah, blah. Because
you're not answering the question.
You don't know
Name
if they work or not, but scientists are saying they do. So let's just wear them. Let's just be safe.
What were you saying, Peter?
Name a country that's doing well. You said our country can't do it.
Their country's doing better than us.
Huh?
I mean, mostly all countries are doing better than us.
Europe
right?
just have Europe.
No, not Europe. That's a continent. I mean,
okay, but every country in Europe, right?
In Europe are doing better
name
than
a country in Europe that's doing better than us.
Hold on. We're number one.
I was going to say we're the worst. So just name one.
We're number one.
Number one in what?
We're the worst.
And based on what?
And deaths and contractions.
Yes.
And cases. Who tests more than anybody else?
Stop it. Stop.
It's a simple question. No, we've had 140 million tests.
Valid point, Wes.
We've had 140 million tests in America.
That's not how that works at all.
That's
not how that works.
Either.
No, that's not how it works.
Okay, explain how it works.
That's all the time. So are you only saying that we've had 100 million whatever of positive, or just tests? Because you're talking about but if you're talking about tests, a lot of people test more than one time, even if they're negative. So that's
what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
The U.S. is testing more than any country in the world.
It's not even close. Also not testing people who need like certain people can't get access to tests. Okay, so let's face it, more Black people are dying from COVID than the majority of other folks. Right? A lot of Black people don't have access to tests. And a lot of people are also getting charged big amounts to get tests, so they don't want to get tested. So you have a lot of people who may have COVID who either can't get the test or don't want to pay for the test because they don't have the money. So
that is impacting.
Which I feel like
look at the numbers. We're the worst, and we've tried this. We really haven't tried anything. We've just been arguing about what to do and what not to do, but we really haven't put anything in place. At least Sweden can say we tried this approach. Hey, it didn't work. We'll try something else.
It should be by state, not by federal anyway. In my opinion, I think most things are state
lines. People cross state lines.
Yeah, that's fine.
It has to be a federal decision to not allow people to travel, but
you can't do that.
Yeah, good luck getting that. Good luck getting that passed.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
It's just not going to happen.
There can't be a federal. There won't be because the federal doesn't have that. If go ahead.
Oh wait, Jasmine.
I'll say this really quick. When the Constitution was written in this country, outbreaks happened all the time: cholera, dysentery, scarlet fever, smallpox, all of that. They still wrote the Constitution the way they did, even knowing that pandemics were real fucking things in those old cities. Somebody comes through the ships, and they can go and infect an entire town with whatever they brought across, and yet they still wrote the Constitution the way they did. George Washington be spitting in his fucking grave if he saw this shit. I strongly believe that.
He saw what specifically? You're just talking about
these lockdowns, these government officials walking around like fucking dictators and people cheering them on because they're telling people to go home. George Washington will be spilling his grave. They'd have tarred and feathered Lori Lightfoot. They'd have tarred and feathered Pritzker and all these other fucking little wannabe tyrants. 100%. 100%.
I think
this is my thing.
It's great because we haven't changed the Constitution in 200
Oh my God.
Yeah, and there were slaves. And
there's an amendment system for it.
Women were allowed to contribute. Jasmine, sorry, go ahead.
So this is my thing. Haven't there been spikes in the last few weeks or so, almost the last month? Oh no, the last few weeks, right?
Yes.
So this is my thing. Everyone's complaining about the wearing masks and doing shutting down, which obviously for the economy doesn't make any sense. So obviously there should be regulations as to how the economy, especially small businesses, can still, run this and the other. But people are arguing you guys are just saying if the death rate numbers are low, this is unnecessary. But there was no spike when we were all told to stay home and only go out when you were supposed to go out.
There was no testing.
Point blank period.
There was no testing.
I'm going to say this. Everybody in this city was clowning Florida. Everybody in this city was clowning California. Yeah, it was also March and still fucking snow on the ground. As soon as the weather got nice here, everybody was the fuck outside. Every single person. People that I saw that were hating on all those fucking crazy Republican Floridans Or fucking out there on the fucking beach in Chicago as soon as the weather got nice. That's what was going to happen in this country. You cannot keep these people locked down in this country. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, within our social DNA, we have this mentality that the government is not going to tell us what we can or cannot do. And it's this revolting, or like almost like revolution spirit behind it. Fuck you, Pritzker. Fuck you, Lori Lightfoot. I do what the fuck I want. All right, I can't hang out in Chicago. It's fine. I'm gonna take my tax dollars in motherfucking Indiana or anywhere else where I can go and eat inside. And that's how the fuck it's gonna keep happening like that. It's gonna keep happening like that.
And then you're gonna end up like Utah, which didn't require masks, but now they're fucked. So now they're like, oh, now you gotta wear masks.
People in this country will take a dangerous freedom over peaceful enslavement. 100%. And I hope everybody can understand that and relate to that. I'd rather be free and at risk than to have some fucking elected official who goes and clears out fucking parks so they can go and have private little parties with their people telling us to stay the fuck home. And that's absolutely shit that they do. It's absolutely shit that they do all the time.
And it's not just them. I think this thing's been going on all year. And I feel like I've seen people flip-flop. Just stay home. This is ridiculous. Why can't we just stay home? And then June rolled around. It's like, okay, you know what? All of a sudden, everybody's in Mexico and shit.
It's okay because I take precautions, not like those other people.
I think it's
fuck
really
you.
Tough. I think it's really tough at this point in the year to expect people to go on another lockdown. Like, I think people are getting sick right now because people always get sick right now, and I'm not okay with hospitals being overrun or nurses having to make calls on who lives and who dies. I just feel like it's going to be really tough to keep people locked down, and also it's going to kill the economy. I don't understand that Biden guy. What are they called? His advisor who suggested that pissed me off. So anyway, that was the end of that. I mean, I don't want to keep up with that. It's 9:01.
Hey peeps, I gotta go. I love you guys. But I gotta bow out. I promised the wifey I'd watch The Mandalorian and eat some dinner with her tonight.
Okay.
Tell her we said what's up.
I will. I'll let her know. No sandwiches for you, Peter. Sorry.
Damn. That's what I was angling for.
All the sandwiches for me only. But hey, it's nice talking to you guys as always. All right.
That's how you got replaced by Ant. He got you.
All right, and you're gonna have to put the red hat on them, bro.
Yeah, I know about that one, but ain't nobody wear that red hat like you. Like, ain't nobody do a better job than you, bro.
Hey, I'm still doing it, man. I don't give a fuck.
I like that he switches to camo to rock the theme.
Hey, man, remember I said I had an opportunity to create a character for myself with this. I'm taking it. But I'll see y'all, all right?
All right, see you.
Y'all have a good one. Don't argue too much without me.
No, we won't. Mrs. Cardi B's in the house now, so we're good.
It's all light now.
Later, guys.
Bye.
All right, Tim.